But now let's look at how to deal with debt collectors. And so the first thing you need to know is that if you're being contacted by debt collection agencies, just because a debt collector says you owe the debt doesn't mean that you have to pay them, especially if you don't owe them. And there's a statute of limitations for each state that these debts might have required that gives them less leverage and you more leverage. So hopefully this video will help you to inform you, to let you know about your rights in dealing with debt collectors. Now, first thing you need to know that there's rules that debt collectors have to follow. You got the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, as well as many other regulations that they have to follow. But in a nutshell, they cannot harass you. If they are caught harassing you, they can get sued. Many debt collectors have been shut down because they've been caught harassing people. They must state that they're debt collectors. They can not call you before 8 a.m. or after 9 p.m. And if you can request that a collector stop contacting you by sending them a letter with your request, make sure you get a return receipt for this letter if you decide to send that. That way you have proof that they received it. Now, another thing that is very important in dealing with debt collectors is you have to ask for written validation that you owe the debt. So if they're calling you and you answer them and they say you owe some money, tell them to send you documentation of how much you owe, where the debt comes from. Send it to the address that they have on file. Do not volunteer any information towards a debt collector, because if you do, they're going to use that information against you. But tell them that you want them to send proof that that debt is yours to the information they have on file, and legally they have to do it. So that is very important to know with dealing with a debt collector. Some other things that are very important is that once they send that validation, you have a month to respond, and you have a month to prove that you do not owe this amount. But after they send that validation, the debt collector cannot contact you again unless they have proof that you owe the debt, such as sending a bill. Now, consumers have all sorts of rights, and if a collection agency violates your rights, they can be sued. So you want to, if you feel that they are violating your rights, you can go to your state attorney general's office, the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, or the CFPB and report them. Now, any communication should be done in writing, since the debt will only be alleged, and anything you say over the phone can be understood as an acknowledgement that you owe that money. Now, if you've got debt collectors calling you, keep a constant eye on your credit report. You go to annualcreditreport.com and download your 3 credit reports from Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. You can do that once a week right now. So you want to keep an eye on your credit report and see that they haven't put new information on your credit report, especially if it's something that you don't owe. Now, if you do owe the money, you can send a goodwill letter to this debt collector to try to have the debt canceled, and explain why you cannot pay the debt. State that you have paid off the debt, but it was sent to collections anyway, or simply explain that the debt was sent to collections because you paid most of it but missed a payment. So a goodwill letter that actually gets sent to the creditor, I believe. So you would send that. Let's say in those scenarios, you paid the debt or you paid partial debt and you're trying to keep this from going to collections. You can use a goodwill letter to help you out. May work sometimes, may not work sometimes. Another thing that you can do, say you owe the debt. What can you do? You can negotiate with debt collectors. A lot of times debt collectors, they pay most of their debts. They pay in pennies on the dollar on most debts. So they're just trying to get something for their money. They cover the cost of buying this debt. So they're just trying to get something. So if you owe $1,000, let's say, for example, they'll negotiate and take $500 or maybe $700 or maybe sometimes even $300. Just you don't be afraid to negotiate. Tell them how much you would settle for. Now, follow up with a safety net. Get something in writing from the debt collection agency stating that they will delete your debt once they have received your payment. This is called a pay for delete letter. This is called a pay for delete. It's documentation that if you pay whatever you negotiated with, whatever that amount is, that they'll remove it from your credit report. And use a cashier's check or a money order instead of providing a debt collector with a bank account number. See, that goes along with the principle of not giving them more information that they need, because the more information you give a debt collector, the more likely they can use that bank account to verify debts that they say is yours. So the cashier's check or money order is a way of avoiding that. Clarify which debt you are paying. If you make a payment to a debt collector, keep in mind that you have control over which debt the payment is applied to. Specify in writing which debt you're paying. Do not make payments for debts you don't think you owe, even if the same agency has multiple debts on one account. And you'll see, if you can check your credit report, a lot of times if you have debt collections on your credit report, you'll see the same account multiple times on there. So you can actually go on there and specify which account that you're paying on. And so these are some key principles that will help you deal with debt collectors. You don't have to be afraid of them. You don't have to be intimidated by them. You don't have to be harassed or bullied. They're people too. If you owe the debt, they will work with you to try to settle this debt. But of course, if you don't owe the debt, then you have rights to help protect you. So learn about these rights. Don't be afraid of these people. Learn how to deal with debt collectors, and you'll be able to settle any debt, protect yourself from false debts, and then you can get on the process of rebuilding your credit. Give me a like and a follow if this was helpful. And in the description, you'll see a link that will direct you to a do-it-yourself credit repair kit that has helped thousands of people improve their score within a matter of months, and in some cases within 30 days. So the link will be in the description there. Appreciate everybody tuning in to this video. Give me a like and a subscribe.